And we are live. Welcome to another episode of The Addict Show, where we speak about the past, future, and present of gaming. Got my two guests with me. Today's topic, obviously, all of you should know what today's topic's going to be. And what's today's topic, Hit Smooth?
Xbox E3, I suppose. Can you hear
me? It's just Xbox E3. We're not going to talk about anything else. I figured that is definitely the highlight of everything. Now we can bring up certain things that it comes to the other conferences if you guys choose to, if you want to. But anyway, here my first guest is Kid Smooth, the infamous challenger. The challenge acceptor? I wouldn't say like you beat all of them. Yeah, I think you're 1-1 right now, aren't you? But introduce yourself.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? It's I'm still trying to see if it's still the best spot.
But you're still the best spot.
Yeah. I was suspending the name for a little bit. How you guys doing? But you just actually got back from E3.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit tired, but I work tomorrow, so I figured I might as well go ahead and get this done with today, so I can, have a free range tomorrow. But anyway, next guest we have. I knew he went to go do something. I don't know if he's back yet.
Hey! This where the fuck y'all at? What's going on, guys?
Diller Gaming.
that would be the intro. Dead ass motherfuckers. Let's talk. Let's go.
That would be the energy that you would throw. Hey man, I'm talking.
Gee, I feel like I'm listening to a corpse on a podcast.
I'm talking plentiful. I don't need to justify myself to you. Okay, you ain't been in jet lag. You ain't been flying everywhere.
You sound like a corpse right now. Let's go. Let's get it going, Addict.
All right. So today we're going to talk about E3, and particularly what I want to do is I want to talk about, the overall show, what we think could have improved the show, and if you like the show, and what do you think, the overall thing that brought down the show if you did not like the show. So we'll go over through, independent topics. First, we'll go through, just tell a brief, don't go into huge detail about the show, and tell me exactly, what you thought about the E3 show. We'll start with Kid. What did you think of 2019 Microsoft's E3 conference?
A lot of non-megaton filler and not enough gameplay. Yeah, just not just bad demos. They didn't have good enough demos to show. I mean, actually, there was no demos at all because everything was just trailers.
But I mean, Addict told me he liked the show. He thought it was pretty good. It just needed one or two more things.
He was there. Wait, did you get inside the conference?
Did you inside the? Yes, I was in the conference.
Oh, you got inside? Oh, awesome.
Yes.
He was behind the Xbox logo on stage watching.
But yeah, I was looking through the little hole in the wall. I don't want to tell them that's there. I might have to use that next year.
You were looking through the hole in the wall.
I'm going to tell you something.
Talking about E3.
Addict, do you remember my mood when I came out of the Xbox conference in 2017?
Yeah.
I was disappointed that year, right?
Yeah, you was disappointed.
I was disappointed, and I was there in person, so a lot made up for it. But the thing is, when I walked out of that conference, I came out with information I can run with that I enjoyed. So I can only imagine how I would have felt if I would have went there live. I was disappointed in that conference, which
it was
3 times better. I couldn't imagine how I would have felt coming out of that conference. I probably
seriously though, you do have to address there's people that are chalking it up to, oh, you believed in rumors, or you thought Fable was going to be there, or blah blah blah. It's like, hey, we all talked about Fable potentially being there. We know that game's real. Whether certain people believe it or not, it doesn't matter. It's real.
Yeah.
And we talked about some other things, but there's rumors every year, right? And that didn't.
And to be fair, we report on the rumors.
Well, I mean, my point is, there's rumors every year. Every year we talk about the same shit. It turns out a lot of people that actually have a good track record were wrong, and it happens, man. I remember it happened last Gamescom where a lot of accurate people were wrong. And Microsoft apparently are running misinformation campaigns, which is smart. They're it's smart. They do that internally, right? They'll hand like the fake scripts for Avengers, right? And apparently
there's 10 or 15 of those laying around.
Point is, people are trying to say, well, you got yourself too hyped up. You believed in these rumors, and it's like, no, we didn't. I literally just went back and watched E3 2017 and 2018, and then watch this one, and I was like, okay, no matter what the rumors said, it didn't matter. It just wasn't as good. Doesn't matter what rumors, expectations.
I felt like
you might have had.
The pacing of the show was good, and the stuff that they did on the show was good, but they executed the individual games incorrectly. Like, for instance, like I feel like just having Gears and Halo, just having those two games demonstrated better could have made this game from like a D to a C to a B. Like just those two games. Like
a B? I don't know, maybe a C, something.
I gave this game a C minus. I gave this conference a C minus because, like, I don't know if you guys, obviously, I don't think neither of you are there, but I'm sure you can ask Colt when he gets back. Like, it was dead in there when that conference ended. You know that, like, at the end of like a really hype movie, you're just like, is that it? Like, is that it? Like, that's literally what happened in that show.
Well, at the end of the day, man, they mishandled that. I mean, they showed more at the Gears 5 Coliseum of the Gears 5 campaign. That little cutscene they showed had me more hyped than this Horde Escape stuff, right?
And IGN covered Escape like 10 minutes later. That's the part that blew my mind. Like,
I mean, here we're gonna leave the wrestlers down in the basement. They're gonna play Horde Escape and then see you guys later. Like, I don't know. I've already hammered the fuck out of this. I'm not one that looks for nothing but negativity, or else I could have a negative doomsday channel, and be doing great. But
popping, won't you?
That's just not what I'm about, right? So I've already hammered it. I did a whole RDX, an hour and something on it, ranting on what I thought could have been better, how let down I was. But I am happy with some of the hardware stuff, right? It's stuff that I've already talked about, that we've all already talked about, and but we need more games. People like to pretend like we ain't been critical in games. Motherfuckers need to start listening. We've been saying
what
years,
it is,
right?
is a lot of people like to go off what a couple people say and act
like
the whole community.
Don't be idiot sheep. Like, look into shit yourself. We've been complaining about games for years, and they still didn't. There's a game coming out in 3 months. We didn't even see it.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't understand the whole Gears thing. It just it kind of like makes me think that maybe they're going like a Death Stranding thing where they don't want to interrupt any kind of spoiler whatsoever. But then I'm like, no, that's bullshit. You can easily have some gameplay that doesn't spoil a damn thing in that story.
I mean, they did it at the Coliseum. They showed a whole cutscene from Gears 5. It was like 3 minutes long.
Did they? I missed it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, see, Microsoft, it's pretty bad when other people are demonstrating stuff better than Microsoft. So, obviously, they did a lot of mistakes in this. No one's going to deny that. I think anyone that's saying this was a perfect show needs to get their eyes examined or something.
I only know one person that gave this bitch a 9.5 or above, and that's it.
But let's go into a little bit. They opened the show with Outer Worlds. I didn't expect that. Did any of you expect them to open it with Outer Worlds? I really didn't. I thought they were going to open it with Gears.
Yeah, I was a little. I was a little caught off guard when they opened with Outer Worlds. I was like, all right, that's not what I would open with, but okay, let's get into it. What did you think, kid? Did that kind of catch you off guard?
Yeah, especially when you look at last year, they opened up with Halo Infinite, and like the year before that, who did they open up with? They opened up with somebody. I forget, but
must have been great.
Yeah, because now
I think the year before they opened up with Forza.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they opened it up with Forza the year before last. And opening up with Halo, I was convinced they wouldn't open up with Halo. Now, I did call it that they would announce the console and maybe show Halo, but I thought maybe Fable would be in there too. But obviously, what's going on here is they're holding bullets back. They don't want to shoot everything this year because they don't really have any competition. I felt like it should have been the other way around, but that's personally my opinion. But I think one of the bigger things is that a lot of people kind of knew this was going to happen, but to see them come out and say Outer Worlds was going to be in Game Pass day one, did that surprise any of you any?
Nope, not at all.
No, I've been telling you about this behind the scenes. I was like, that's my only prediction for Outer Worlds is that it's going to be Game Pass day one.
Yeah, and I for one like Outer Worlds. I was a huge fan of New Vegas. To me, that's the best Fallout game. I don't know if any of you have any experience in Fallout, but I have days upon days and all of them, except for 4. That one was trash, but we won't go into that. But then after that, they went to Bleeding Edge. Now this game got leaked somehow. Remember what was it? It was confidential that was written on it, which is funny is because I talked to Dan, the head of Xbox, the day after I think it was that Saturday. It was the day before the conference, and I was like, does any of your anything that you guys watch have confidential on something like that? He's like, to be honest, you have no clue. He's like, it kind of felt like they know who said it and they know who did it. But he was like, any kind of rehearsal, anything we watched definitely does not have confidential on it. So I thought that was kind of weird. I kind of heard rumors that it was Jason Schreier. Did you guys hear that?
I don't know. That guy, I don't even, whatever. Fuck Jason Schreier.
Yeah, I actually met him. We ran into him at E3.
Tell me he's I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. That whole Bleeding Edge thing was kind of a fiasco. And then I'm trying to tell, and everyone who knows anything is trying to tell all these people, look, they have more than one team. This is not their main project. This is not the Hellblade team's project. This has a different lead, right? You can literally see the names.
Yeah. Actually, we actually interviewed the person. IOP interviewed the person. It's a woman. I can't remember her name, but she was a very down to earth person. There's only 15 on this project as well. So it's kind of.
Didn't you guys love how everyone freaked out though? It was so predictable so predictable that Ninja Theory themselves predicted it, came out on stage and let you idiots know that, hey, we're not the only game in development and we're actually a smaller team. We're actually a side team and this is kind of our little project, Yeah. Because people were freaking out about that.
I do think they have 3 teams going on because she told me that they have 15. So I'm assuming that we'll probably go like A, B, B, C team. So I'm assuming the Hellblade teams, the A team.
Yeah, and the studio apparently has over 100 people in it now, or 100 people.
So I would assume that a good because she said that there's only about 15 people in that studio, 15 to 20. The majority of them was actually there on the floor, and they actually played the game with us. When me and Lord Cognito and Lord Sovereign played it, how they set it up is they took 3. They took 6 people, 3 for each team, and the 4th teammate was always a dev. And they always explain stuff going on. So I was a support person. I was the dude with the snake. So my only priority, I was like, look, love Lord Cognito, love Lord Sovereign to death. They don't play these games often. So I was like, I'm healing that chick. I threw the shield on her, man. I didn't even see Cognito with them very often, man, because they kept dying, which, we probably lost because it was my fault. I should have been a little bit more equal when it comes to the healing. But I actually enjoyed this game.
So you saying you played favorites and motherfuckers died? Is that what you're saying?
Look, man, all I know is when I healed the chick, she was killing people because we didn't know the game.
Sketchy, Addict.
But we were getting murdered through about middle of the game, and then when me, Lord Cognito, and Lord Sovereign finally started learning how to play this game, because you got to keep in mind, I play Overwatch, I play all these games. Lord Cognito, Lord Sovereign don't play any of these games, so they're literally a deer.
A deer headbutting some Xbox soap out of a vending machine.
Oh my God.
Is that what they were?
But so about midway through the game, we started catching up because we started really learning how to play the game, and it's fun. Like, I don't care what people say. They can. I don't want to hear this narrative that Microsoft made them make this game. Which in our interview, she said loud as clear that we made this game on our own accord.
Yeah, the game was in development well before there was any Microsoft involvement.
What's funny is it should just be common sense. They bought the studio a year ago. Did they think they made this game in a year?
You know what, Addict? I don't know why you pretended like motherfuckers over there on Twitter and on the other side of the fence actually think, for one. So this is common sense, and we tried telling them for days and days and days, and idiots. We're sitting there saying otherwise, or trying to downplay it, or trying to act like we didn't know what you're talking about. Like, what the fuck? Have you caught on? You obviously don't watch videos, so I don't know, kid. I know this isn't exactly what you wanted, but what do you guys think they're actually building with the Hellblade team, the big team?
I think they're building a Hellblade 2.
You think they're working on Hellblade 2?
Yeah, I think they might be working on a new IP entirely. Could be,
but didn't they have that chick back though? Like they like even after Hellblade was like released, they kept releasing screenshots of like motion cap for her.
I just feel like Hellblade should be its own self-contained thing. I mean, I
Yeah.
felt like it ended well.
Yeah, I don't think it needs a sequel. I think they need they should just make
I
a new
just
game.
feel like they can. Ninja Theory's got, they got that. What's the word I'm looking for? They got that reputation to make that single player game. So I feel like they could make anything, and a lot of their fans would just try it out of blind loyalty, which is good. If you come out there and you give good games, you get rewarded by reputation, where you can sell just about any damn thing. Let's look at CD Projekt Red. Fucking Bungie. I mean, it's hard to. I literally told myself I'm done with Destiny. They dropped something new. I'm like, damn it, I gotta try it. Like you literally get blind loyalists like me with Destiny that will buy these games over and over again because you enjoy it. I know there's a huge cult following for Hellblade, so I can see them making a new IP entirely. I would feel like a Hellblade 2 would be more easy to sell. But, it's like I said, that they have a good cult following, so they could easily make something completely original as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I was not expecting Bleeding Edge, but I'm not the type of person that really completely disregard games, because personally, there's some games like that I do like. I enjoy playing, games like Gigantic, that's now defunct. I played. I mean, I enjoy Overwatch as long as I have a group of people to play with. So it doesn't totally bother me. I'm just surprised it's them that was putting that game out. I would have figured that it would be like one of the other studios they purchased.
Yeah, and definitely. So any of you guys catch that Ori? I thought, I didn't play the original Ori. Shame on me. But
What'd you just say?
I didn't play the original. I'm the director here, Diller. You trying to derail this.
What do you mean? I'm just trying to point out. I just shined a little spotlight on your fraudulency.
Look, I have never one time said I played this game.
You do realize that's one of Xbox's best games, right?
But I'm gonna go try it. But what really intrigued me with Ori Will of the Wisp, I'm a huge boss person, and they look like some really crazy bosses that are in this game. I don't know if you like your typical fight them. It looked like a lot of running, platforming, and getting them in situations where you can damage them, which I'm cool with that too. So I don't know. I'll probably go back and I'm going to try the original Ori, because we have till a few months before the sequel comes out. Did you guys get surprised?
No, that shit is delayed.
Did you guys get surprised when you saw that February 2020 date?
Nope, I was told that about 4 a.m. that morning actually. Yeah. It sucks. It sucks. So, but at the end of the day, they know that they've got Gears and they've got nothing, but except for Ori. Confirmed. Well, they got Outer Worlds, but a lot of people don't even really consider that because it's going everywhere, right? I mean, if you're thinking in that mindset, they've only got Gears and they got Ori until E3 next year.
Yeah, you're definitely right there.
So it's like maybe they said, "Fuck it, you guys need a little bit more time. We'll go ahead."
And we just had a drought like a whole fucking year. It was last year, wasn't it? Like. Like I get it,
They promise it's really going to be over next year, at some point. Okay.
In 2000, what's funny is we're going to get a decent 20, and then half that shit's going to get delayed to 2021.
Oh man, if you're watching live, let us know what you think in the chat, guys. Ori February, and that was rumored to be more around August, I do believe.
Now, do you think that was a last minute delay, or do you think that was been in there for a minute?
I've been in there for a minute because they ain't show us shit since last year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So we finally see Minecraft Dungeons, and this game's actually coming out for Xbox. It was openly marketed as coming out for Xbox. Any of you guys get surprised? But I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen.
No, I was surprised because I demanded that shit go to Xbox. It has no reason not to be on Xbox. It didn't look like it was anything particular PC, like, oh, this needs to be on PC only. So like it was like one of my last tweets I sent out and one of my last videos where I was complaining about Gears Tactic and Minecraft Dungeons and stuff, and then obviously shortly after the E3 day confirmed it. So I wasn't surprised, I kind of was expecting it because I was flabbergasted at the idea that it won't come to Xbox. So
I could totally see you playing Minecraft Dungeons, Dewey. I could totally see that.
You know what? I am glad they showed that instead of regular Minecraft.
Oh yeah, I'm glad too. I got tired. And what's funny is when I saw that come up, you can ask Lord Cardi. I was like, not Minecraft again. It was like from the creators of Minecraft. I'm like, thank God. Like when I saw that, it was like a relief because we had Minecraft for like what 4 years in a row.
yeah.
I mean, it is the biggest game in the world, but that doesn't mean it needs to be on the stage. The fact that it's the biggest game in the world is exactly why it doesn't need to be on the stage again.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone owns it, whether they play it or not. Now. I do think I think they're putting ray tracing into that game right now, is what I heard, and I think that will be one of the first patched games for the Anaconda or whatever. And it's gonna have ray tracing or whatever. It might sound dumb. But if you've seen the mods for ray tracing in Minecraft, it actually is really, really impressive and cool to see. But I think maybe they'll lay low in the regular edition until next D3. And that's where that 4K update's been, by the way, for the X.
Yeah.
Is apparently they're working on that ray tracing stuff, and they said, fuck it, we're just going to postpone it.
Yeah, and we'll get to the next console here in a couple minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Addict. It's not like I got any topics from you.
Oh, I'm going through the topics. You need to calm yourself. If you have not noticed, I've been going through beginning.
Hey, DJ in the chat, call this man a fraud.
Look,
didn't even play Ori.
Look, man. See, this is how much I care about your fraud shit. All right. All right. So next thing that was on the list, we saw that Star Wars Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
We knew this was going to be here. We saw it at EA. Do you think they got the marketing rights, I assume? Do you think this was relevant to be here? Do you think this should have been here? Because it was pretty much the same shit they showed at EA. Like, so they really
a little different, wasn't it?
It's a little bit different.
The beginning part of the demo on EA's.
Yeah, well, see, at EA, if you went to the EA Play thing, they showed you a demo there that was pretty much the same demo that was taken to the Microsoft thing.
So do you think the impact of Star Wars would have been tremendous had it not debuted at EA's earlier?
I think it would have been a lot better. I do. But EA got to be EA. They got to do.
EA got to put on shows that no one gives a two fucks about.
And what's funny is a couple years ago they literally announced Anthem and said, "Look for the Microsoft conference later on today." Like,
yeah.
But I guess they lost that memo this year. Like, they were.
You know what? That Star Wars game looks good, man. And
I think that's one of the highlights of the year. Part
of the reason I'm so stoked for that game is because Xbox hasn't had an action adventure type platform-ish type game like that since Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which I thought was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's been about a year, but over a year by the time this game comes out. So I'm actually looking forward to this game, and I hope it runs at that nice smooth 60 FPS.
And I was looking at this game the whole time I was thinking about that. I was like, this game looks great. Like, it's got that atmosphere. When I was watching, it's got the atmosphere from going with the TIE fighters going over you. When he was taking out the walkers at the beginning, I was like, man, like I don't remember a time where I've been really hyped for a game besides, the Fallout Bethesda stuff. But, Bethesda and me don't really see eye to eye here lately. But I liked Star Wars Last Jedi, and I do think that maybe they should have let that have it at EA and use that time to maybe go in a little bit more of Gears or something like that. But Star Wars Last Jedi is probably one of the biggest games coming out this year. They'd be stupid not to show that, so I definitely understand that.
Yeah,
I didn't have an issue with Star Wars being there. It was the other shit before and after Star Wars they were showing.
What do you mean? Bambi Adventures wasn't up your alley there?
Yeah, the Bambi Adventures.
He likes the Snoopy thing, man. He likes that Snoopy Grand Adventures. That's what he plays.
I mean, all the games that slipped out of all the games that slipped out of the indie montage and found himself having indie.
Now, this next one, I think people don't give Microsoft enough credit for what happened with Cyberpunk on their stage.
Apparently, Microsoft didn't have a hand in that whole Keanu reveal. That was all CD Projekt's idea.
Well, I wasn't really going to refer to that. I was
Addict? I was trying to one-up you, but okay, whatever.
I was going to, really talk about the only. Would you not think this is probably one of the most hyped games for a while? What's the last hype game that was more hyped than Cyberpunk?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, damn straight, man. Damn. Okay, podcast over. Sea of Thieves. Like, damn, man. You
Cyberpunk looks good, brother, but that was definitely like some kind of that wasn't indicative of gameplay. I'll tell you that. And
they
have
needed
a feeling,
more gameplay, man.
I have a feeling this game's going to get delayed.
Yeah, I do too.
From that date,
yes,
but it does have some relevancy when it comes to a show floor, not really, exclusive wise, first party wise, that one of the most hyped games probably this generation got announced on their stage, went through the process, the release date got announced on their stage. And it's like, one of the biggest things that me and Lord Cognito was talking about, one of the biggest highlights, I was in that stage when Keanu Reeves came out, it was fucking real. Like, it was like you couldn't hear yourself talk.
Was that you that they were trying to keep off the stage?
Man, I was the one that. What did that dude say? Damn, I was gonna make it
beautiful.
No, he didn't say you're beautiful.
You're gorgeous.
One of a kind. You're one of a kind.
Yeah, one of a kind.
Oh, okay, it's even worse.
And Keanu Reeves definitely. I think that was the loudest the stage was. Besides, hey, when Master Chief was announced, that's when it got really loud. But besides that, that's when you could tell that the show was average, and that's what really frustrated me. Did anything about Cyberpunk really pop out to you guys, or does it pretty much, since there's no gameplay, it kind of like lost a lot of its shine?
Go ahead, kid. I know you got some things to say about.
I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't really care about like. In terms of
no gameplay though. I know you got some things to say on that.
Yeah, no, they had no. There's no gameplay. That was one of my beef. Like a lot of the games they showed were just like trailers, and they were like none that were indicative. Only thing that were probably indicative of gameplay was the the Bambi simulator and the top down what's that game? It's was it the Groundhog Day game on a train or something like that, or in like a small apartment?
12 minutes.
Yeah, 12 minutes.
That was a good game. We'll definitely get to that here momentarily. But when it comes to, we'll go ahead and move on. Is there anything that you wanted to say, Diller? Because you kind of passed it to Kid. I didn't know if you even want to talk about this game.
I feel like this game is going to be epic, but I also feel like it's not going to be as epic as Witcher 3 because they are taking a lot of risks here, which is absolutely essential to what they're trying to do here, right? But I just feel like it's going to be a big game that's good. That's I feel like there's things that they probably aren't going to nail here because they're first time trying to do some of this stuff. So I wish it was kind of third person, like, and kind of went their traditional route, but maybe it'll come out and be a fucking 97. I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm getting it. I know that much. It's going to be an absolute blast to play, and the narrative and the side missions separate CD Projekt Red from everyone else in this industry when it comes to RPGs. So we'll just have to see, man.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone, Lord Cognito actually played Cyberpunk today. He told me, he was like, look, it's real. Like, and he's not even, he seemed hyped going into it because he was getting to play it because not a lot of people was playing it. Mm-hmm. But like when he came out and he told me, he went from, this is going to be a cool experience to I'm buying this fucking game.
He wasn't buying it before?
I assume he was buying.
Shout out to Lord Fraudnito.
I assume he was buying. I didn't really get in a conversation if he was buying the game or not. But he's definitely buying it now. It definitely convinced him that it's worth every penny. I'm sure Kid Smooth will end up buying that game for a couple people after losing bets. But anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to this this indie thing that they did on
the Xbox conference.
Yeah. So I counted it up. There was about 19 indie games, give or take.
Damn.
You sure that was it?
Well, the indie rail that they did in there was 15 by itself. So
you sure that it wasn't more than 19? Because it felt like way more.
Let me see.
I mean, it was like 19 minutes of the show. It felt like it. I feel like it has to be more than 19.
Well, let me see. It might have been. Let's see. There was the 15 in the trailer. There was the Spirit Fairy or whatever the fuck it's called. Would we consider? No, Simulation wouldn't be one.
I don't know.
Wasteland 3. Do you consider that an indie now?
No, it's not an indie. I don't know, man.
Iconauts. That's not really considered an indie. 12 minutes. That would be an indie.
It's hard to define, but when it comes down to it, how many games are there? You could have 100 games there, but how many were you interested in?
Yeah,
how many do you remember?
To be honest with you, like all the indies, I couldn't give two shits about. The only one that I was like, yo, I want that was 12 minutes. That's literally all.
12 minutes look interesting. Yes, I agree. But at the end of the day, if you can't remember any of their names, hardly I remember 12 minutes because it left an impression with me.
Yeah,
and because I can't remember what the fuck happened. I don't know. I've been making fun of the damn Bambi one since it happened, and I don't know what that was called.
You don't want to think about it. They gave more gameplay to Bambi than they did Gears. Like
they gave zero gameplay to Gears, Addict.
Well, that's why it's so easy.
Well, did anybody bother to ask
the wrestlers on the stage than Gears gameplay?
Do you know if Colt bothered to ask Rod Ferguson why he did such a
Rod addressed that, and he said that they showed Gears gameplay last year and they just wanted to switch it up, and that was the wrong call.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
It wasn't to preserve the story. I mean, hell, they gave away more about the story in that little beginning part where Kate's hearing voices and she transforms. They gave more way there than they have everything else combined as to where the story's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So obviously, it's not to preserve the story. I really liked that when it showed her hearing voices and all that. That stuff was really fucking cool. And I was like, hell yeah, this conference just picked back up. And then
I think the thought process was that would be enough, like a more powerful message than showing gameplay. Which that message was pretty cool. It seemed like she was. I kind of thought she was fighting herself, like her own mind. But then it got because I don't really play the Gears.
It's Kerrigan shit from StarCraft 2. A little bit she's gonna go and you're gonna play as her, and they probably opens up for some.
And they're gonna flip and you play as JD.
Probably, and two, if you watch the Coliseum cutscene, it's a cutscene in Gears 5, but they're still classic Gears 4 versions of themselves. So there's a time jump somewhere in this game.
Well, that's what's up. Me and Kid need to finish that game. I still ain't finished Gears 4.
What?
Yes, I'm a fraud. Yes,
Jesus. You ain't played Ori, you ain't beat Ori, you ain't beat Gears.
Man, see, here's the difference. I will admit this, okay?
Well, who doesn't admit it?
Look, we ain't going into that.
All right, I didn't think we were.
We ain't going into that. But okay.
You did call him a fraud.
Here is the elephant in the room that I was the most disappointed with, that Battletoads. What did you guys think about Battletoads? I just like the way that they described and showed the artwork when they showed Battletoads last time. I thought it looked different.
Yeah, I think we all did.
But since you're picking this up day one, Diller, what did you think of Battletoads?
Not quite picking it up. I probably get it for free from somebody to review or something, but I won't review it. I will look at it and say, well, I own that, and then I'll try it 3 months later when I have nothing else to play.
Oh, damn. You'll pick it up for free.
I did not ask for Battletoads. And I don't think this is recreated the proper way for even Battletoads fans to be like, I have to play this. Yeah. I'm not saying that they don't want to play it or they won't play it, but I think even they were a little bit let down.
Yeah, and I have to agree. Battletoads, I felt like a lot of people, even the people I see that really enjoy this, I don't think no one was hyping this game up. Like you said, I have never heard anyone ask for this game. So I think this game's going to come out. It's going to be a stealth launch. Obviously, you're going to have the fanboy shit on Twitter making fun of it. What would you predict this as a Metacritic score?
You really going to do this right now?
just gun to your head, man. Gun to your head. What's the Metacritic score?
I don't know, man.
I'm going to say 75.
It's hard to tell because I ain't played the damn game. I mean, you barely even seen anything of the game, so I refuse to give one.
I've seen enough.
I refuse to conform.
75, man. I've seen enough.
Hey, Smooth, what are you giving it? Have you seen enough?
Shit. In fact, I don't know. It's will they even have a Metascore for this damn game?
Duh. They're not going to not have a Metacritic score for this game.
They
had a Metacritic score for Recore. What the fuck?
Instead of the Metascore, just says lol.
It'll get a 73 for nostalgia.
Nostalgia 73. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on from that one. All right, so here, we obviously an Xbox conference wouldn't be the same without services. So they finally openly came out and they announced Game Pass going to PC as well as adding, the Ultimate with Xbox Game Pass on Xbox, PC, and Live Gold. How did you guys feel about this? Do you think that they? I felt like it was on the floor a lot. To be something that they could have done like through a YouTube video. Do you think that was necessary to spend that long on this service? What about you, Dylan? What do you feel?
You're talking about the Game Pass segment. I think that they not only they spent too much time on it, they brought someone out on the stage for it, which is not necessary. And I mean, I like the jacket, but it wasn't necessary. And I think that they talked about PC too much on an Xbox stage.
Yeah, and I completely agree. What's funny, Age of Empire was at this damn game, but Gears Tactics wasn't. Like, is this game even coming out anymore?
It is, but they built. A lot of people think they only announced one new studio at E3. They actually revealed two. There's another one that's internal, being led by Shannon Loftus. They are taking over Age of Empires.
That's what's up. Does she have like an experience with
No, not at all. So it should go great.
That's going to be a 65 on Metacritic. Okay, gotcha.
Well, like she's not the creative director. I want to make that clear. She's the person that will run the studio, pay the bills.
So she's pretty much like the global person connecting between them and Microsoft.
Basically, yeah.
All right. So, now we get to what, Wasteland 3. They announced it. They finally have they ever announced this, like actually announced it till now? Or is this the first time it's actually been revealed?
Wasteland 3 trailer came out well over a year ago.
Okay, so it did.
Yeah.
No gameplay. Again, this seems to be a trend, but we ain't going to talk about that. It is coming to Game Pass, so that was nice. I kind of figured that. What do you guys feel about this? Do you feel like I feel like just some gameplay on this would have made the conference better? Like Wasteland 3 didn't even look like a strategy game. Like it literally didn't look like what the game is.
I don't think it's like an RTS though, is it?
Well,
it's like a top-down.
It's like an XCOM game.
Yeah, I didn't like the trailer. That's the one game that should have used some kind of cinematic instead of gameplay or whatever.
Yeah, any fucking thing besides what they did. You know what kind of reminded me of when they did Dead Rising 4? You know, that Christmas bullshit? That's what it reminded me of.
Well, Kid Smooth can't wait for it. He's got a pre-order.
Yeah, Kid Smooth, he has it more than pre-order. He went in there and he
motherfucker went out and got the collector's edition.
He stole a copy of it, man. He's been playing it all morning. I've been trying to get some info from him. He won't talk. I guess he's just going to take that.
Next game.
All right, so they announced Double Fine, and then Double Fine came out and announced Psychonauts. Well, that's way been announced. Anyone care?
I'm sure it's a quality game. It's Tim Schafer. He's got a cult following, but at the end of the day, this is not. Say it with me. This is not the shit Xbox needs right now.
It's not. And to be honest with you, I didn't think Double Fine was. It maybe if with another game, I just don't feel like that studio alone was worth time on the stage.
It was more the acquisition and knowing that studio has a following. But keep in mind that these studios all start out pretty small, but Microsoft has bolstered every one of them they've acquired. Ninja Theory's up over to 100 people now, right? Yeah. That's way bigger than it was before. And they're going to do the same to Double Fine, so they can.
A lot of these studios have almost doubled in size.
Yeah, so think of the Double Fine in 2 years, which sucks. I'm tired of fucking waiting for stuff, and we've been very vocal about that on my channel. But at the end of the day, we need some blockbusters, man.
Oh, I completely agree. So we actually had a Japanese presence again this year. Dragon Ball Kakarot was announced, and what's funny?
Dragon Ball what?
Kakarot. That's what it's called, isn't it?
I thought it was Project Z.
No, they changed it on stage to Dragon Ball Kakarot. Might be called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, but I'm pretty sure
it's
one
even
of those.
Worse.
But what's funny is this is an RPG, and it looked like a Tenkaichi game. Like I just don't understand. Like whoever is going and approving what these trailers are that's going on stage, he needs a serious sit down. Like he really does.
Well, think about it. A lot of these big third parties didn't even show up. Call of Duty said, fuck everyone. So at the end of the day, like I think it's very obvious, and Kid, you might agree, but it's very obvious that these publishers, Warner Brothers, they said, "Fuck all y'all, we're out." All of these guys said, "No, we're not showing anything this year. We know consoles are on the horizon." And we remember what happened in 2013, where everything almost flopped because of new consoles. And this is like, I guess they're counting this as the next generation, right? Unlike with the Pro and the X. So that's the only thing that really explains it.
That makes it worse too.
So yeah, no one really showed up. Ubisoft didn't really show up big. And this whole trend of showing a bunch of stuff you already released does not get me excited at all.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And the funny thing about this is one of the very first times this particular game was actually shown. I thought it was completely shown wrong, but this next one I think is even worse than this game. So we go for
see Fonz in the chat, this fucking fraud, the grounded gamer. He says, "Dealer Ninja Theory sucks. They're making trash. Microsoft forced them to make," which is funny because that's what we make fun of behind the scenes all the time. People think Microsoft forced Ninja Theory to make this, as we said earlier. They confirmed it on stage. We've been working on this for years before Microsoft even thought about it.
Like I said, man, they made this game in a year. They made it in a year. They had all that gameplay in a year.
Right? Yeah, they were forced to make it in a year with 15 people.
Now, this next one, I think, is when it pissed a lot of people off. So they bring up the Gears thing. They go through the Gears, go through the escape thing. And guess what the next announcement is after they done pissed off the whole Gears, the entire Gears population?
I was too pissed and annoyed to
Elite controller. Dude, I was watching reactions when they saw the Elite controller. It's like it made them 10 times more pissed
because they were confused. They're like, "Hang on, is that really what you're going to show for Gears? You're going to tell us wrestlers are playing the game in the basement. You're going to pull the camera out, and then you're going to go to an Elite controller."
That was weird. The whole basement thing.
Yeah, because it was so cringy.
I didn't even know you could get down there.
I mean, you were behind the Xbox logo behind Phil. How did you not know?
No, like when they go through these, like it's like, you know, smokes and mirrors. They focus your attention on something else while they change. Like a lot of the times when you're in these shows, you know how like after some kind of video, Phil Spencer's in the middle of the whole shit and he's talking. I never see that dude move up there ever. Because it's smoke and mirror. They want you to look up here, and they're like, "Phil, go, 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 go!" No one's looking. Like
SEAL Team 7, go!
He's like he doing the grapple hook from the ceiling.
Dark Link in the chat says $180 controller, another one. Well, I will say, yes, it is pricey. It's still less expensive than some of its competitors, and it's going to be the most advanced, crazy control in the world. I will say that.
It does look like, as long as it improves and actually doesn't fall apart. Lord Sovereign actually brought his to E3, and it was doing bad. Like the grip was coming off. Like I ain't never seen shit like that.
Bro, I got a Design Labs controller that was sent to me, and the rubber grips. I barely used it, and the rubber grips are coming off on the very tips on that little arch, which I've literally barely used that controller as a result. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
And, you know, we'll go into this next game. After they do the controller thing, pissed everyone off because of the Gears, they show Dying Light. So, you know, you get to this point, oh, shit, Dying Light. Now here we go. 20 seconds later, that motherfucker's off. Like, I'm like, wow.
Well, even Dying Light was still kind of forgettable, though. I mean, it wasn't big enough.
That's what I meant. 20 seconds later, that was off, and they went to Forza fucking Lego. Oh my god, man.
You know what, Addict? I thought I was over this shit, man, but you're starting to piss me off again.
Might be, man. Might be.
I mean, Kid Smooth, you had to be pissed off when you saw Gears and then nothing. You expected more and it didn't come.
Yeah, you know, because I had to kept doubling back to see, hey, are they gonna think they're gonna come back and like show like some real like?
Nah, at the moment that was off, I knew that was a wrap.
I don't know. Like I just hope like everybody like, you know, like who saw Rod Ferguson asked him like, dude, like that really wasn't the greatest showing of Gears. Because honestly, I don't care to see Gears multiplayer because I know what I'm getting.
Yeah,
I know what Gears multiplayer presents. I want this the biggest draw for Gears 5. Like everybody, because the thing is the tease of the first trailer. So people want to see what changes were made to the campaign. Like how open is it? Like what are you going to be doing? Like I wanted just a 10-minute demo, dude, or less, 6 minutes.
And I think the reason that they didn't do that, which is dumb, is because they had all these games that no one cared about that they had to give stage time to.
They chose to.
So the little things like taking all those indies and just putting them all in a rel.
Yeah, very short one.
Yeah, that would have saved time. You could have.
Keep maybe headbutting the fuck out of that vending machine. Keep that little clip in there for sure. But I want to take you guys back to last year. Close your eyes and open them, and now you're in a tent. And they showed us 8 minutes of Last of Us 2 gameplay. Right? That game was over a year and a half out at the time. We still got almost 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of gameplay. I don't remember how much. It was a lot. So
it was a decent amount.
Yeah, for them not to do that with Gears, considering the massive leap in quality and scope and all the stuff you can do in Gears 5, like traversal and going around the open world-ish map, they didn't show any of it, not even in a montage. I was like, what the fuck?
I was seeing them play Escape, and the game looks way different than 4. Like, it's not even... And you know what's funny? I was seeing them...
Be more descriptive.
It looks more clean, more crisp. I don't know what they were playing on. They could have been playing on PC. They could have... I have no clue.
Well, they're supposed to run it at like pretty high res at 60 apparently.
And the part that annoys me is what I saw of Escape looked fun, but the shit they showed me at the fucking press conference did not look fun. Like,
well, because they showed at the press conference, they didn't show gameplay. They just showed.
That's my point.
Boring, dumbass trailer, like pretty much summarizing what you're going to be doing, and that's it. Like
now, okay, guess what they showed next? Gears fucking Pop.
Yep.
When I saw this, I almost walked out of the stage, like dead ass. I still had that Fable could come at the end of the conference, could save everything, so I stayed. And then when that didn't show up, I debated chewing rocks or something like that. I don't know, but when I saw Gears Pops, I felt like this was low key disrespectful. What do you think, Diller? Did you like this? Don't lie, man. You have that Pops demo on your phone, don't you? What? Did he break out?
Yeah, we lost him. Maybe he got the PlayStation Network syndrome.
The PlayStation Network syndrome. No, he went to go download Gears Pops, man. That's what happened. But kid, what did you think of Gears Pops? I don't think this should have been there at all. Like not even remotely at all.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, kid.
No, go ahead. No,
I didn't hear the question, so I'm just going to go.
I would say Gears Pop should not have been at this conference, not even in the remote slide.
It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been at this conference. Something that could be reserved for inside Xbox. It only made the conference worse. It doesn't mean it's a bad game, but at the end of the day, yeah, it shouldn't have been there.
And now we get to something I didn't expect: State of Decay 2 expansion. Now, Diller, I did
think it was going to be like an anniversary update type of deal going on.
You did tell me that. What exactly is this update? I've been going around everywhere.
It's like a story expansion, and from what I played for so far, it takes you back to the map from the first game.
That's cool. Yeah. I still don't feel like it's E3 worthy.
They kind of rebuilt it and remade it, right? Kind of like Resident Evil 2. And I didn't even realize where I was, right? Until I drove out from the church of the first base in the first game. Mm-hmm. And I turned around, I started to pull out of that, and I was like, I pulled out of this driveway like 6,000 times. Where am I? I turned around, went back to the church, and I was like, holy fuck, I'm back on the first map.
What's funny, I don't think they said that at all in the conference. That you're going back.
It shouldn't have been there either.
Well, I get that, but I feel like you saying that you're going to the map that you played all that time in the
homeland or whatever.
Would be way better. Yeah, would be way better than like, we got to save this person. It could be my last day. That's literally what they said. Like, they didn't say shit about anything. It's like I said, like, on paper, this, besides, the bullshit State of Decay stuff, I love that game, but it should have been there. The Forza Horizon, I could see that because people do like that. Gears Pop should definitely not have been there. On paper, this conference isn't bad, but when
it's pretty bad on paper.
No, I don't think it is. Like I'm looking at.
What do you mean? Write down the names of every game that was there on paper, and then write down no gameplay.
Oh, no, I said execution. Like on paper, The games are good, but execution don't make any of them look.
I mean, 40 of them aren't though.
But they went through 15 in 15 seconds, Dylan.
Well, that's still too long because I can't tell you anything about those 15.
Dude, that's because they didn't show shit about those 15. Do you think do you think indies shouldn't be at E3 at all?
It's not about indies. It's 12 minutes, prime example. I don't give a fuck if that's made by one person. That game is interesting.
That's because they displayed it correctly.
No, it was shown off as it is. It's actually looking to be something new, different, interesting. Bambi is not.
I don't even know why that game was there. They bugging for that.
And they showed that bitch for like 30 seconds. They said, fuck it, Bambi ain't playing around. Let's go ahead and bust some shit.
I guess maybe they're trying to have like this indie-friendly like approach to get more people to come to their platform.
I mean, I said it on my show. I feel like Xbox is, I get it. Like, look, come rock with Xbox. We fuck with everybody, right? And we don't give you the bumps and shit, right? And that went wrong because they brought a bunch of things on that were not. It doesn't mean the games are bad, but not all games are created equal to most gamers, right? Not all games are created equal to a lot of people. It doesn't mean they don't take time and talent to make, but at the end of the day, we're at the Super Bowl.
One thing this next game, I don't really see the hype in this. Do you guys know why Phantasy Star 2's up so many people are deep throating this game? Like I've never even heard of this. I heard of the first one.
And I never been to
I didn't even know there was a sequel.
I thought it was that people were
doing that. I
doing
didn't even know there was a sequel.
Apparently that game's 10 years old.
Oh, that's why. Because I
gave some shit. I don't know. Like I'm not into that weird stuff.
But it's a lot of people I see are happy about it. That I feel like even though I don't give a shit about that game, seeing the amount of reactions on Twitter, that should have been there. I think that. But this next game, does anyone know what the hell Crossfire is? Even
apparently it's the biggest game on PC.
Who was it? Somebody in a party with me looked into this. It is from a Korean studio, and basically it's like Korea's biggest shooter.
Oh, because Phil Spencer came out here acting like he was about to announce Fable.
We were happy to partner with Smiley Cat Games. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
No, man, I didn't even have time to look it up because that shit was over before I could even get my phone
CGI,
out.
But I knew that it wasn't going to be anything graphically intensive or anything that was like...
They were acting like it was Battlefield for a second.
Yeah, but I knew that it wasn't anything like that when I heard 650 million people. I was like, all right, got to be some kind of little rinky-dink free-to-play game.
Yeah.
Oh, someone, shout out to Master Shake. He said it is basically Asian CSGO.
Yeah, that's right.
That's cool. Fuck that.
I mean,
game
but we
anyway.
have regular CSGO on the Xbox already.
Yeah. Now they did. I have to give Microsoft props that they are trying to get a lot more of a Japanese-oriented games. Tales of Arise came up. Now I don't really give a fuck about Tales.
What is that?
That once again, I don't give a fuck about Tales.
You played Tales of Vesper on a 360?
I played I've played Tales before. Played a few of them. Now, if you ask me anything about them,
played a few of them. You don't know nothing about it. You played a few.
That's what I've played a few of them. If you ask me anything about them, I'm going to tell you I don't know anything about it, and I've never beat any of them. Because
isn't that the fucking reoccurring theme of this podcast?
But I'm honest and I'm upfront.
I'm honest.
I tell you, I don't know shit about Tales. My friends always have them, and I try them. Doesn't mean I beat them. Okay.
Man, I tell you what, before you start, it's kind of like a media platform. A lot of people make the mistake of overexpanding, and they don't consolidate themselves, right? Think of it in terms of games. Microsoft need to lower in the fucking hardcore gamer before they worry about this type of shit. Give me some blockbusters.
I feel like there's a huge fan base for these Tales games, Tales games, man. I feel like
I get it. It's third party. Microsoft had to do zero work for this shit.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like a Lost Odyssey 2, if you want to get towards that kind of thing, so something around there, that would have been a lot better. And one thing, we'll get into this here in a couple of seconds. It seems like they're trying a little bit more with the Dragon Ball Z's, the Phantasy Stars 2. I feel like Tales of Arise could have been on an inside Xbox.
Is it not on PS4?
I don't know. Kid Smooth, you got a PS4? Go look at the store. No, I'm joking. But Elden Ring was at the show. It was that From Software and that dude who makes Game of Thrones, the writer. There was no gameplay. I was very surprised by that.
That game's very far out.
Yeah, that game probably don't even have assets at this point. So I'm sure Kid Smooth do a challenge at that. He'll probably lose.
Ooh, challenge at what?
At
This motherfucker tuned out. He's like,
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. We'll see. From Software, Game of Thrones.
I'm a huge From Software fan, but it's like I told Lord Cognito. It's like if you're gonna bring third party stuff on there, like have a really nice looking presentation for that game. Like Elden Ring didn't. It looked like it was like a fucking deleted cutscene off of Lord of the Rings. It really did. Like I didn't know what was going on. Didn't know what the hell. I don't even know what the game is.
now, Fonz in the chat had a good point. He says, think of it this way. They're trying to expand with xCloud, right? Remember, you don't need an Xbox to run with xCloud. You can kind of just pull up your device and play mobilely. And with titles like these, it might appeal to those people a little bit more. That is a different way of thinking about it. And that's a good point.
Japanese market.
That's a good point. But me sitting here saying I'm not going to play on xCloud, I'm like, I don't give a shit. So I get it for that reason. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, where's my games?
Yeah, and that's the next thing. xCloud. Any of you believe anything they say about xCloud?
Yes. What do you mean? Believe what?
I played xCloud. That shit does exactly what they saying.
No, we all know you don't beat no game. So how?
Oh my god, man! I told you. Okay. Let's recap. Let's recap there, Diller.
Hey, if you're listening, by the way, hit that like button for Addict here. Share this thing out on Twitter.
Look, you can hit that like button. I gotta talk up on Diller here real quick. Okay, you said I didn't play Gears, kids. Have I ever liked Gears? Have I ever liked Gears, kid? Have I ever liked Gears?
No.
You didn't play. You didn't beat Tails. You didn't beat Gears. You didn't beat Ori.
Okay. Oh, so have you played Tails?
I beat all of them in one day, bitch.
The Tales of Arise. So you beat those games?
No, I never. Yeah, I mean, but I never even played them. You're like, I'm just giving you shit because every game we talk about, you're like, I played it, but I just didn't beat it.
How many games have you tried and never beat?
Oh man, probably
actually, that's most games for most. I do I try more.
Like anything, kid. You play something for 15 minutes and go back to live. Stop it. Like
no. Most people try more games than they beat.
Yeah, especially with Game Pass. Like that statistics got to be ridiculous now.
But anyway, I played xCloud. I was impressed. I was playing Halo 5. I didn't feel any type of lag, obviously it's some kind
Wasn't it hardwired or was it?
No, I was wired. Like Bill let us walk around the stage.
The only thing that was wired was the controller to the phone because with that many Bluetooth connections in one room, they had issues with the Bluetooth.
Yeah, and it worked flawlessly. I didn't have no issues. I'm not really that big a person on playing games on my phone, but I can see a market for this. It felt natural. It didn't feel like you had to force anything, like it was uncomfortable.
Okay, tell us what we want to know. How was the latency?
It was good. Like I didn't feel it. I did not.
Are you one of those that plays games out of game mode?
No.
Are you sure? You sound like you didn't even know what the fuck that was just now.
Oh my god, man! the game functioned. What else do you want from me, Gil?
All right. So it felt like how closely to the console experience and the latency on there did it feel?
I would say you can feel it a little bit, but it's not enough to where. Now I don't know about multiplayer. I'm not a tech dude. I'm not like you. I don't know nut shit about that. But from the standpoint of playing Halo 5 on single player, it was around the beginning of the game. I didn't have an issue playing it. I was shotgunning elites just like I usually do, taking the swords up to people's necks like I usually do. I didn't feel a huge difference. Now, there was a slight difference. Like sometimes, when you switched weapons, it felt it for a brief second. And it wasn't like anything memorable. Like you would have to play the game a lot to really notice it. Because I played a lot. Me and Kid used to play Halo for like 4 or 5 hours a day for months. So it was good. Like I really behind this xCloud stuff. Am I going to use it? Probably not.
But I mean, Phil Spencer, I did a video about this earlier. Phil Spencer talked about that, and he's like, well, it's an option, and we know that it's not going to replace something like Scarlet. Like we know that in that time frame, it's not going to happen, but it's got its time and place, right? And Sammy in the chat said that I think he said he felt it a little bit in Forza, but not as much in Halo, which makes sense because there's less latency in Halo. It's got double the frame rate. So maybe with some 60 FPS titles, it's not nearly as bad, maybe, but at 30, you could probably feel it pretty good. You think?
Yeah, and to my knowledge, I don't think Halo 5's single player is 60, is it? I think it's
It
30.
is.
Oh, it's 60. The single player.
Yep. Even on the base console.
Yeah, it's 60. It's 60
Yeah,
frames
it's
all
like I
around.
said, I didn't really feel it too much. Like, and you know, I had I wasn't tethered to anything. You know, Bill let us walk around a little bit and try it. You know, he was explaining. Well, you know, it's like I said, it's like a foreign language. I don't know shit about that cloud computing stuff, but you know, I enjoyed it. I was definitely enjoying it. I didn't see no issue. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm a worshiper of the
It's better than nothing, right?
but I'm saying that people who think this kind of technology cannot exist, you're fooling yourself.
I mean, if you even see somebody say that, I mean, you just know they're idiots anyway.
Yeah, and then we'll get to I'm pretty sure Diller's favorite part of the whole conference, the new Xbox. How'd you feel about that announcement, Diller?
It's everything I said it would be. With the exception of them not talking about that second box, if there is one at all. Right now, when they're asked about that second Lockhart SKU, they say everything we want to talk about or reveal today is in that Project Scarlet trailer. They don't deny it. They don't confirm it. So I'm a little on the fence. I don't know exactly what's going on there. I may have a special guest in the pipeline that is directly involved. Maybe not. Maybe for RDX. So yeah, I'm going to try to find out some more information on that. Very, very interesting. They may even reveal it at a later date, like NVIDIA do with their graphics cards. Kind of put out that high-end one and then replace the lower SKU later.
They're probably doing, you know, promoting. They might not want to confuse people.
Or so they might not want to confuse people, but at the end of the day,
you the highest one now, and they show you the lowest one later.
And they may, like, who knows? I mean, it may not exist, but it may. So we have to kind of wait and see.
Try to replace that with the X.
The X, yeah, I would phase the X out and kind of continue. I mean, that's the confusing part is how are Sony going to continue? I guess they all got to continue supporting these products. So maybe they figured out a way to do that with the X. I don't know. But at the end of the day, Lockhart, the box that we know of now, or Anaconda is what Scarlet really is. The box we know of now is insanely powerful. Ray tracing hardware accelerated, unlike what some idiots were saying. Also, around 4 times the power of the X, and that's not on the GPU side alone. That's overall capability. So no, it doesn't have 20-something teraflops, but I expect it to have around 11 or 12, and or who knows, maybe less. We'll see. But at the end of the day, we know it's going to give us what Phil was saying, much better performance. That's the number one thing. I want higher frame rates, man. I'm tired of 30. I want to play open world Assassin's Creed game at 60. So I want that. That's the real jump for me with consoles. That's what makes it feel like a PC. And when it does that, then I'm all in, man. That frame rate just makes everything so much more enjoyable. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that, you know, I'm not really a tech person. I don't even really watch tech channels. Occasionally I'll pop in a your channel. You're like the only tech channel I legit watch. Because that stuff's never really bothered me. I don't even have an X. Like, Kiss Me always makes fun of me over it. But, you know, it looked cool. Like, what I thought was funny is, like, it was literally, it felt like they took that video right after they took this the X video. Like, literally, same background. I think it's almost the same people. Like, all of the same people.
You know what's fucked up? Well, it's the same hardware team, right? Which I talked to the lead engineer on the Project Scarlet today, and basically it's going to be pretty kind of confusing because we don't know enough about it, but they don't know enough about PS5 to claim fastest console yet. And that came right from Phil Spencer as well. They don't know how fast PS5 is yet, but they do plan on being the fastest. They are aiming to be the fastest console. So the guy that talked to the developer that said, "Oh, I heard there are no dev kits out for this thing yet." There are none. So the guy that talked to a developer and the developer told me PS5 is faster, that's nothing new. We had heard people saying a developer said it was faster for 6 months, 7 months. But people are lashing onto it because it's this guy now, right? So at the end of the day, it's nothing really happened on the PS5 side. Microsoft has said more to reaffirm that they want to be the fastest kit than Sony have. Microsoft are the ones telling you the stuff they said in the interview last night that I just put out a video on, right? Sony hasn't said anything about being the fastest.
Yeah, that does make a good point. So when it comes to hardware, obviously hardware's useless without software.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing that I think they announced last night, besides the new Xbox, is the fact that Halo Infinite is coming out for the new Xbox day and day. Do you think, first off, do you think Halo is going to get delayed? I don't think it will. And second off, do you think it's going to be relevant, the Halo in the state that Halo is in this today, to come out with the new Xbox? Kid, what do you think?
He said, "Fuck y'all."
He told me he was tired, man.
You're right, man. Software is key. I said it once again. Said it today. Software is key, and I'm ready for those really demanding, beautiful looking games to leverage this hardware. I'm not sure about Halo because Bonnie Ross said we're not releasing until it's done. So it's like, how do you know it's going to be done if you've already got a launch date, right? I kind of like the way she was approaching it better. Whereas we're not launching it until it's done. And that's what I want from Halo. This game needs to come back big. It needs to be polished. It needs to surprise and delight gamers, not just visually, but it needs to have all the gameplay features, the polish, the customization that you could hope for. And if it doesn't have that, it's going to be disappointing to me.
I think that Halo's always going to be Halo, but I think this is the last chance for Halo to get that surge to be what it used to be, or maybe not exactly what it used to be, because some games will never get that former glory that they used to have. Because Halo used to be huge. Halo's still big, but it is a shell of its former self. But I do think this is the last chance that 343 really has to prove that they can make a Halo game.
If not, then management needs to be changed over there.
Yeah, I completely agree because I love Halo. Halo's one of the first. Halo and Fable were the two games that's kept me on the Xbox brand for years. And, obviously I haven't seen a Fable in like a fucking 15 years, it feels like.
Mm-hmm. And they can reinvent that as well. A lot of people think Fable, and they're like, I don't really care for Fable. I didn't like Fable 2. Well, there's a lot of people out there that didn't like God of War 3. I love God of War 3. And then the new one came out, and they're like, holy shit, this is God of War? They can reinvent these things. They can redo these things, right?
Just takes good management and good...
And a sleeping kid's move.
Yeah, I think he's out, man. He's in the bushes.
So Halo, they did confirm that was running in real time. They even saw some kind of artifacting and stuff from shadows, and there was no ray tracing in that demo. I don't know anybody who said there was, but just for those that are curious, there was no ray tracing there. So that game should look better technically when it actually launches in 2020, because it will have ray tracing.
Speaking of that, I've been told that they didn't see a couple of my friends said that there's a difference between Halo 5 and Infinite. I kind of felt like there was a huge difference. Like it didn't look anything like Halo 5. What do you think? Do you think they look similar, or do you think one overlooked the other?
Well, unlike Halo 5, Halo Infinite is probably going to look much like the cutscenes while you're playing it. Also, those cutscenes were running at far higher fidelity, 4K resolution, and 60 FPS in real time in those cutscenes, right? Whereas Halo 5 was running at 900p, basically, scaled the frame rate in half just to do those cutscenes. The game looked nothing like those cutscenes. That's why they look so good. Whereas Halo Infinite will actually look like the cutscenes.
Now, what do you think about the Slip Space engine? Do you think more of Xbox's studios might use this as time goes by, or do you think this is just going to be a Halo thing?
I don't know, man. That's interesting. It's kind of like asking if others will use Forza Tech, but it's like how limited is it? Is it limited to first-person shooters? Is it as adaptable as Unreal Engine 4? I don't know enough about it. I'd like to learn.
Yeah, I was told by someone in the know that it's kind of like it looks kind of like the Frostbite engine, but it's really easy to manipulate like the Unreal Engine. I don't know what that means. I have no clue. I'm not any kind of engineer or anything like that.
So it probably has some of the advanced features of Frostbite, but it's probably as usable as Unreal is probably what they were getting at.
They're trying to not have an anthem. That's what's going on here. The
cool thing about Halo, though, if you watch the Digital Foundry coverage, they did go over all of that. And when the guy actually fell in the ship, since all that's in real time, right? He actually did, and you remember me covering this before. In Digital Foundry, the guy that was talking may see it other way, a different way, right? But when he fell, there was a plume of smoke that flew out from under him. So you've got physically simulated particles there that represent smoke, right? And I talked about this over and over. He thinks that it's something the developer may have placed there, but I think that you're actually going to see a little bit more of these physics. I think physics and volumetrics like this are going to be simulated so much more on the next Xbox that it's going to elevate these games like crazy. Like, I don't know why people think it's not possible. It should definitely be possible with this much CPU power, especially. But if they got hardware accelerated ray tracing, maybe they can use those cores to do other things as well.
Yeah, and I think maybe the slip space engine might be that secret weapon that 343 uses to bring Halo to the next level correctly.
Well, I mean, we could see. I don't know. I mean, we've barely seen any of the damn. We have seen none of it in action and gameplay.
That was just used in the actual engine. It wasn't gameplay.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Obviously, I don't know what the hell happened to Kid. Kid probably fell asleep. He could be doing it. He could be raging on live. He could have thrown his controller at something.
Fell asleep listening to all the list of games Addict didn't beat this year.
Oh my God, man! But right now, Diller, what was the game of E3? Doesn't have to be Microsoft. What was that game?
It honestly is rarely Microsoft for me. Because they've just taken so long getting this shit out. Man, this E3 was one of their worst ever.
I have to agree with you.
And it's hard to choose, but Cyberpunk is a big game. I'd have to put that on there, but Halo, this made me more interested in Halo again. And just for reference, I was more, who said this? Maybe it was my buddy Pac-Man. I don't remember. Somebody said I was more invested in the guy in the Halo trailer that was crying, looking at the picture of his family. He was stranded on that ship for like a month, right? Maybe 2, whatever. I was more invested in that guy right there than I ever was in Locke.
Yeah, ever. Because Locke wasn't built up correctly.
Locke is trash. He has the charisma of a doorknob. Hashtag kill Locke. So hopefully Locke never comes back, or at least to give him a good writer next time or something. Like his writing sucked. But I think this Halo could be kind of a re-sparking for some narrative-driven stuff, and hopefully they do this right, man.
And the way that, they presented that trailer makes me think that they're going to do a little bit more of a narrative focus. Hopefully. We'll have to see when the actual game comes out. We've been fooled a lot by previews before. We don't have to talk about Ubisoft because, I'm looking at them.
Speaking of Ubisoft, though, real quick, Watch Dogs Legion. I am... what the fuck? I am not hyped for that game at all, bro.
I'm actually the exact opposite.
What?
I think it looks nice. I think it looks nice.
Really? I think it's the guy with the pig mask on the game cover, isn't it?
Since I'm not the one hating on this, I'll go ahead and slide my big ass can full of rocks, and you can chew on these rocks while I play. This game.
Look, Bad Hombre. I'm pretty sure me and this motherfucker got to Twitter, but he's got a point. Hunt the truth. This is one of the best game ads I've ever seen in my life. You get in the damn game, and none of this is in the damn game. So Microsoft 343 definitely got to knock it out with Halo Infinite, and if it don't work, then they need to change management because third time's a charm here.
Yeah, I think after a certain amount of time, it don't matter what studio you are, if you drop the ball, and I don't necessarily think that 343's 100% drop the ball every game they have. No.
But the multiplayer apparently in 5, people like 5's multiplayer, right? Like some of them like it the best of any.
What's funny is it's like the opposite. People really, really like the single player 4, but hated the multiplayer. And then they really, really liked the multiplayer 5, but hated the single player. Like I remember in 5, there was literally a whole chapter just talking to 3 people. How did that get past that? Like
somebody told me you played there's like 11 chapters as Locke and like 3 or 4 is Chief.
It's ridiculous, but we'll see. There's a good thing. No one was in that trailer besides Chief, so that's always a good thing.
They remembered who the game was about.
Yeah, and that classic. There's Chief. I like how when they dropped him off that into that Pelican, like the whole damn thing moved.
Big emphasis on physics in that trailer, man. If you think back, big emphasis on physics and particles, which is like one of the biggest things that I was really stoked for with these next systems, man. Honestly,
I know Microsoft. We're going to go and end it with overall thoughts of Microsoft. I'm disappointed with their E3 this year. I think little things could have made the conference way better. More gameplay, more emphasis on the stuff they had. There's no reason why we had no more gameplay on Wasteland 3. No reason why we didn't have gameplay on Gears. I personally think if Halo's coming out next year, they could have showed something more than they showed this year too. But that's just me. Maybe they don't want to open that bag up too recently. Now I know why they didn't show Fable. I do think that they want Fable to be there the year they announce the next console, like officially reveal it. So I get that, and
answer me this real quick.
All right.
Right, Matt Booty said it, but do you believe him? Did they hold back?
I think that I wouldn't necessarily think they didn't hold back. I would think that I would have to actually say, yeah, I'm going to change it. Yeah, they held back. Because when it comes down to it, we both know Fable was in development. We both know, Rare's making a second game. There's obviously stuff they could show, but you could say it the same way when it comes to Sony's not here. They can destroy the competition this year, but you can throw that exactly the way around. We're going to shoot all our guns off 1 year because the competition's not here, and then next year when the competition is here, instead of seeing a bunch of articles on Twitter, on YouTube. Well, you can't see articles on YouTube.
Instead of people saying, yeah, we want to have the most power, we're aiming to have the most power, maybe put that in the trailer.
Yeah, instead of seeing we saw more gameplay on Fable because it was revealed last year. Next year, you'll be saying we saw a Rare IP revealed. We saw Fable be revealed. Those sound better than just seeing gameplay because it was revealed last year. Now, I think they would be really good if they would announce those games. Am I disappointed they didn't show them at all? Yes. Dude, I went out there for a fucking Fable reveal, okay? But at the end of the day, I can't blame them for not wanting to shoot that bazooka when the competition is not even there. I think they should have. I think they should have doubled down and tried to get some of that industry love back while there's no one to hit them back. But at the end of the day, I'm not in their position. I can't tell them what to do with their company.
Yeah, Fonz says he didn't think Halo's too mind-blowing graphically. He wasn't really impressed, and I've heard that more than once. Yeah, and I will say that keep in mind that I do believe that the game will largely look like the cutscenes this time around. Like, for all those wondering, what can we expect? It takes a lot to usually they half the frame rate, they lower the resolution, all this stuff to pump out the cutscenes in Rise of the Tomb Raider, for instance, or any of these games, Halo 5. You can expect a lot of these games on Scarlet, the cutscenes will probably look a lot like the gameplay. If you're talking about real-time gameplay, don't compare it to a static, like a cutscene from some of these games, because it's completely different. You're looking at Halo Infinite, and that's probably how the game is going to look during gameplay, I would imagine, from that first person's perspective. I mean, that's about the leap you can expect, but at 4K and 60 FPS. And if they wanted, that's the cool thing. They got the headroom to maybe go to 1440p, maybe, add crazy physics simulation. Like, they have so much more overhead, and you're seeing that at double the frame rate. It's more than worth the upgrade to me.
I don't know nothing about stuff like that, but how do we know that what took the X and, that engine 100% to do Halo 5, they're doing all of that on half the power with this new engine?
Say what?
Well, I would say, maybe the new engine's helping prevent a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not a tech person. It's preventing the engine from running as much as it did for the previous engine.
What?
Look, I'm not a tech dude, okay? I'm saying maybe this new engine helps overhaul some of the stuff that they had problems with the last engine they had, so they don't have to use it to its full capacity like they did with the previous engine and the previous hardware.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. It was a good show, though, man.
Yeah, but appreciate any last words on the Xbox thing, or
I give it a C. I give it a C. I guess it's lower than a C. Actually, it's a 6 out of 10. And you know what? It's always better to let Microsoft know when you're not happy. It's better to let Sony know when you're not happy, and they'll come back stronger. That's the important part. As long as you're not doing it like an idiot and you're not attacking people, right? Just give your honest opinion. 6 out of 10 for me. Better luck next year, Microsoft.
Yeah, I think it too. I think C 6 out of 10. I even would understand if someone gave it a 7 out of 10, but nothing higher than that. But you know, I appreciate everyone coming by. Definitely hit that like button if you don't mind.
Subscribe to Addict.
Yeah, Dill is a fraud. You know,
Yep.
Yeah,
I got
appreciate
exposed
you
for not
coming
beating
on, man.
Oregon Gears today, not you.
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
Oh man.
Like, if you would beat these games, I would
beat them games, you cloak wearing motherfucker.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast. I appreciate everyone coming out. This is the Addict Show on E3 2019. Was it good? No, it wasn't. Peace.